And I think the thing that most people don't think about is how insane, like the sheer amount of details that needs to be implemented in a game to make it feel good. It's just insane. And the biggest problem is that you're going to apply most of these details to gameplay that you're going to throw away. It's such a process of trying out things because you don't know how it feels until the graphics, audio design, gameplay, performance, like all of this comes together. That's the only time you really get a feel for what you're building. And if it doesn't feel right, you have to change all of those things or try to change each of those things to see which one of them is what's causing the thing not to feel right. And that's another thing. Like in iOS games, I hate that you have those joysticks and stuff. I remember playing Super Mario. I can't even remember the name of that game. Like this official Nintendo Super Mario iOS game. There are no controls. You just kind of like Flappy Bird, right? You just have your thumb on the screen, and that's the only control you have. And that's the same idea here. You just put your thumb on the screen. The tank starts driving. You move your thumb. It turns, right? And then, as we can see here, when I drive outside, it auto fires on the enemies. I love playing games with my friends. And I wanted to create something that was like super simple to just jump into each other's games. So it's like a drop-in kind of thing. You can start the game at any time. You can give your friends a code and they can just jump into your game. What I realized is that I don't even need a Godot editor. I just need to create my own environment, which I've done here. So when I fire up Claude here, it runs on a project that has a lot of instructions around things I've developed as I've been exploring. But basically what it does is that it runs local here. And when it runs local, it fires up 2 windows, one host and one joined player automatically. And then I have my Claude window here, and I test here, I talk to Claude over here, and then it will just restart the game whenever it makes changes. And this is also a thing, like there's so many details to how this tank operates. For example, you see the turret turning before it's in range of firing, for example. That's really important because you kind of want the tank, because it's automated, right? Because you can only use your thumb to control the tank, but you don't control the turret. But it has to feel like the turret is doing what you want it to do. So the turret will always oh, it's restarting the game. So the turret will always like point to towards an enemy, even though it's completely out of range. And then you have like a range, upgradable range to actually fire. Because I wouldn't be able to release this game having to actually run a server for the gameplay. So the way this works is that I do have a server, but it's a handshake server, which can run for free. That's fine. So it only does the handshake, and then there's a host. And it uses WebRTC to sync up the state of the game, and it works really, really great. Like it's amazing. For example, Fortnite. Why does Fortnite feel so amazingly good when firing the gun? It's just insane how good it feels. And like the feedback you get when you hit the enemies, like it's insane how good it feels. But what makes it feel that good? It's really hard to pinpoint it. But one thing I know is that feedback is king. Like when you get feedback for doing something, like I'm pushing my thumb here and the tank starts driving, I'm moving my thumb, the tank starts turning. That's feedback, right? But also me adding these trails. Is it trails? Trails? Like behind the tank? Makes it feel like the tank is going through the terrain, right? So it adds to the feedback. So I want to explore if we can add a sound to, well, basically I want the tank as you're driving it, when it hits a bush, that we make like a bush sound, like it's hitting the bush. And if we could even kind of make the bush fall over and kind of fall flat to the ground, but it doesn't necessarily need to like break. If you, I don't know how we could do this, but it kind of falls flat as you drive over it, and then it kind of pops up again as the tank passes it. But the sound effect and yeah, the sound effect is really important. But that's also the thing. It's like you have to remember it's a game. That's also something I've picked up is don't try to make things realistic. It just needs to be fun. But the reason I talk about like Jeeps and tanks is that when you hit them, like things can fall off, or you can make them wobble more. Like you see how these tanks, if you crash or something like that, they wobble. And that's really good, like important feedback. The thing that saves you from 200 enemies. If you just bought more single target DPS, the next threat shouldn't be more HP. You already saw that. It should be something DPS doesn't answer. Enemies that flank you, that you can't reach, that punish standing still, that come in swarms. Think of small vocabulary of orthogonal threat access. Single target area, range, mobility, survivability, crowd control, and every enemy stresses one axis while every upgrade relieves one. That's interesting. That is interesting. That interplay is the engine. It's also exactly what tower defense is quietly doing. Its enemy palette is tiny. Yeah, exactly. Just a bunch of balloons, right? How fun can it be to take out the balloons? It's one of the most popular tower defense games, and they're fucking balloons.